Welcome back to my Liminal World project. My name is Natasha, and today I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like you are permanently stuck in transition? And although you're heavily investing in your future self, it seems that it's never arriving. Instead, that space in between is becoming even more dynamic and more complex than you would want, right? This was my experience for the last 10 plus years. And as I said, I didn't have anybody to guide me through this liminality. So I wanted to find out the way myself. And first I needed to know, what am I actually experiencing? So I needed to clarify what's going on so I could act upon, I could find a practice or MO or course of action to guide myself through it. So during my last research, 2025, I stumbled upon the concept that blew my mind. At the moment, I was like, oh my God, this is it. So I want to share that with you. 3 European scholars, I will mention their names, but I apologize in advance. Probably I will pronounce their names incorrectly. 2 are from the UK, Nick Ellis and Nick Beach, and the third one is from the Netherlands. His name is Sierk Ibema. So these 3 European scholars introduced a brilliant framework. They separated transition into 2 categories: transitional liminality and perpetual liminality. Understanding the difference changed my mind, but also I thought this can actually change how we view our modern world, our entire modern world, not just professional sphere, because these scholars are from organizational studies, so they were trying to figure out what was going on in workplaces with the work positions or jobs. I said this is way bigger than they maybe thought about it. So let's dive in. As we all know now, traditionally, liminality is a temporary phase. A person is getting into this liminal space to grow skills, to change mindset, right? And once this phase is done or gone, you are stepping into the new role and integrating into society with a clear position and new responsibilities. So in this case, liminality is just temporal. Your limbo, no matter how hard it is actually, it has an expiration date. These scholars actually label this as transitional liminality. So think about someone who was a professional and now is becoming a manager. That's the example they're using. So you're a professional you are entering that, I will say, what is like a training field, and you are learning how to become a manager. But once you reach that position, once you reach that point, that moment, your position is clear. So liminality for you ends here. The stability is returned to your identity, right? And you are integrated within your organization with a clear position and new responsibilities. End of story. So from the identity perspective, when you talk about yourself, you say, I was a professional, now I became a manager. That in-between space is gone. Everything is clear for you, identity-wise, when you talk about yourself, but also how others perceive you. Modern workplaces have created a different beast. They don't say this, that's on me, right? So they say, oh, modernity is actually introducing us to perpetual liminality. In this case, a person will enter this in-between space, but because of his position or the the role he has within organization, he or she will remain permanently stuck between identities. It's just the nature of this new work life, new work experience, whatever. So I was like, this is fascinating, because it seems as if the person cannot, when they talk about themselves, they cannot refer themselves to or position themselves to old and new self. It's as if while doing their job, they are recasting multiple selves. They are this and that. They are, for example, in one situation, they are partners. When they work on this project, they are partners with you. But when they work on this project, they become your competitors. It's like, it's becoming very confusing. So they're, for example, taking a role, freelance roles, like, or inter-organizational projects. When you are actually, by the nature of your work, on a threshold. So in one way, you are insider in that company. So you are included, you are one of us. But on the other hand, because you're there for the certain amount of time or because of the certain project, once you're done, you're excluded. You're not anymore part. You're perpetually, you're outsider. So the way your identity is constantly in that flux, you are, whether you want it or not, a part and not part, in but also out. So included, insider, but also excluded. Your liminality is not temporal, it's relational. All those relations you must navigate within your position, right, is making or recreating this limbo you're experiencing. So they're giving the example of a professional who has become a manager. But depending with whom he talks, he's either or. So with these people, I am professional and I feel like I'm part of that group, but also I'm outsider, right? Because part of me is not. I'm also that when I speak with this kind of people. And I was like, this ongoing shift of our identities is actually very exhausting, right? I was contemplating about it, and they also said, which I love, as if you are recasting yourself for all the time for different audiences. You can't escape. It's the nature of your work. It's the nature of your position. You are constantly creating and recreating your own identity on spot. You can imagine how multiple selves, like, how are you just managing all of those? Like, who am I in sync with? Where is my attachment? Where is my loyalty, here or there? Lack of attachment is actually something that is inside of your so-called new identity or multiple. Like, I'm not attached, which is a kind of freedom or flexibility we all want. But again, identity-wise, it becomes very unclear and unstable for yourself as well, for the others. The moment I was like adopted this new language, and what I also love, they say we are not in transition, we are liminars. So not only that there is a transitional and perpetual liminality, we become transitional liminars or perpetual liminars. I was like, this is amazing concept and amazing terminology, new terminology. So once I understood, I was looking at the outside world, because I always, try to expand the concepts, or I'm trying to always apply them to my personal life or the life I live. So I was like, this actually liminality, this perpetual liminality, is not occurring only in our career lives. It is taking over our personal lives too. I don't know if you have heard about the term, modern dating term, situationship. I did not know about that until last year. And the moment I started introducing myself with it, I was like, this is ultimate, if you ask me, this is an ultimate romantic expression of perpetual liminality. Think about it. Two people are apparently in situationship. Two people are in relationship, but it's not relationship because depending on situation, depending on situation they are currently in, they are couple or they're not. So for some people, family members or friends, co-workers, they are a couple, but for others, they're not. They are constantly in relating in a way that there is no clear rules. Their relationship does not have any clear status, so they don't have, identity-wise, they don't say we were and now we are. So there is no past and there is no future that are clear. This is ongoing, present. There is that affects the way they see themselves as well as the other. So I was like, this is for me, very confusing. I was like thinking, is this a fear of commitment? Maybe it's like, do people not know what they want, so they are in need to experience that? But no, it's actually something that is becoming more and more like a default or norm, especially for the young people who are coming to that dating pool, dating sites, right? So, and I was thinking, Jesus, modernity has brought us to experience these unstable careers as well as situationships. And if we accept or adopt this kind of the way we are relating ourselves to others, it's like reality will, on the other way, condition us to live this way. So there won't be any more stability as we know it today. It will just be some liminality we are constantly going through, like a constant flux that we are creating and recreating, whether we like it or not. So I was really, because I had to reflect on my own experience. For the last 15 years, I've been experiencing this ongoing, perpetual, if you want, liminality in my professional life. Because when I became an immigrant, my solid professional identity was gone. Prior to coming to Canada, so back home, I was a teacher. So my diploma was professor of Serbian language and literature. So I worked in private high school where I taught in classrooms, and I did everything teachers do in that part of the world. So I was directing yearly performances. I was I managed PR. I was for some time a part of school board. So my identity was solid. It had roots. It has some clarity for me as well as the others. So I was, identity-wise, I was like student, and now I'm a teacher. I went through my liminality, and then I became a solid, I had my solid identity. But when I came to Canada, that was gone. Not only that I entered IT world, but within that world, I first experienced contract work. Contract work, as they say, is one of the manifestations of perpetual liminality, or expressions, or that's what perpetual liminality has created, like contract work. So I worked in the company not only on a contract, 3 months contract, and then 6 months. So, coming from that solid ground, I constantly had to ask myself, do I work, or I'm supposed to search for another job? Like, it was really unclear to me. It was as if I'm really stretching myself to accept that this is reality, but I was always thinking this is just for now, right? Temporal, now. But it was ongoing. And in other ways, like, I had a lot of flexibility inside of that job. So, for example, my schedule was pretty unusual. Like, I worked so-called evening shift from 5 p.m., 4 p.m. until 1 a.m. So all the company had 78 people. I never met most of them, right? Only when I would be coming to the company and they would be leaving, I had a somewhat interaction with certain number of people. So within my shift, I felt like I was a part of company. I was working on certain project, and within those 10 of us, right, I was like, I am a part of this organization or company, right? But the moment I would be among morning shift, I was like, I'm the other. I never felt the same as them, included. I didn't feel that I belonged to that us, right? I was like, I'm here, but I'm not, right? And after that, I tried to cure that instability by, getting into my creative projects. And I did a lot. And I wasn't even aware that I am not only unstable on this side, but by working on that freelance role, right, I'm now putting myself in ongoing or perpetual liminality, where I was writing, and then I did self-publishing, and then I developed my website, and then on a website I was again writing, editing. Now I was translating because I switched from Serbian to English, or I did both, right? So I did photography. So the more, what didn't work for me, I was like, what's going on? I'm investing on both ends. I'm deeply invested in one and the other, but somehow I can't even merge them. And also, depending on who I'm connected, I'm one or the other. These people knew me as Natasha who is writing, what's going on, did you meet, have you been, have you read your story there, what are you planning next? But they thought of this identity of mine as something like they didn't know or didn't even ask. These people, however, also see me clearly as this person, but not as that one. Or some of them just knew. So this was something I work on side. But if you, how they say, side hustle in Canada. But I was like, no, it's not a side hustle. I have a rather serious approach to work, a strong work ethic, and I'm very dedicated. And I'm not afraid to invest in that future self. But somehow, the more I was investing and even showing that I'm responsible, I'm serious, something, or that identity-wise, situationally, I was, like I say, I was recasting myself to different audiences without being able to merge myself into one stable position and say this is actually me. Relation wise, I was constantly one or the other. In one moment I wanted even to maybe I should be among creatives, because maybe they would understand more the nature of their jobs, or maybe even mindsets will allow me to be whatever I am. But it didn't work. It didn't work because I think at least my experience is like people accept that as activities. It's like, oh, you do that and you're in that. It's like a hobby. Whereas maybe my serious approach did not align with that mindset. Like, I wanted to clearly say what I do means a lot to me. This is not just an exploration or experimentation. I'm really doing my best because I lost my identity, right? My professional identity was gone. And I struggle to find that solid ground where I will be feeling, how to say, identity, good in my body, but also able to integrate within community. I didn't like this position, on and off, inside out. It was very confusing and frustrating and tiring, right? So, to wrap this up, I have to say, like, whether we are experiencing this instability or liminality within our unstable careers, or we are in these situationships, right? It seems like the modern world is pushing us away from that solid ground, whether we like it. So as if we are becoming conditioned to live in this permanent or perpetual liminality. And part of me is asking always myself, is this something that is coming from us? So whether we want it or not, we are pushing ourselves out, and then reality is like folding, like, this is what you want. Or reality itself is recreating us. Whether, young people, if you come, as I say, if you come to the dating pool or come into profession and it's already flexible, unstable, on and off, like you have to recreate yourself on spot, you have accepted that as a norm and the default. So is it us or reality? Who is creating who, right? Also, sometimes, I want to finish with that, sometimes I think, we are supposed to leave or let go, as they say nowadays, of that old identity. We have to become that new. But maybe we are not, we still don't know or cannot even imagine what that new identity of ours, in my case professional, can be. So while we are in that transitional liminality, we are relation-wise, within it, experiencing a lot of perpetual liminal experience, like we are going through a lot of perpetual liminal experiences in order to explore, experiment with all those identities so we can release them while we receive a certain set of skills or mindset, while we understand, because nowadays I understand and I respect and I appreciate more IT, administration, photography, web developers. Like, I have a huge appreciation for all of those so-called stages of identities of mine, right? Would I be that person if I had just transitioned clearly through the liminality? Probably not. So I want to hear from you. Are you experiencing perpetual liminality? Are you perpetual insider or outsider within your job, within your career? And also, are you in some kind of situationship, and how are you? What do you think? Is it confusing or liberating? Is that what you want, or is what it is, right? I want to hear from you, and please let's talk about that in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please, if you resonated with this, please consider subscribing to my website, liking and sharing my video, as well as maybe joining my community at the website. One more time, my name is Natasha. This was a Liminal World project, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao!